Okay, greetings boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. In this video, as you can tell by the title and as you can see right in front of you, I'll be comparing to the Xbox One controller and the PS4 controller. To your left, as you can see, you have the Xbox One controller, and to your right, we have the PS4 controller. Both controllers have their ups, and both controllers have their downs. So with that being said, enough rambling and going off topic, because I don't want this video to be unnecessarily long. Let's get started. I'm going to pull the Xbox controller to one side for a moment, and we can focus on the PS4 controller. We go in alphabetical order. And PS4 controller. The PS4 controller, they have the buttons there, X, circle, triangle and square. You've got the directional the analog sticks, which are on either side. And you've got the home button, the home button, which used to be at the top on the PS3 controller, which I'll leave that for another video, but it's at the bottom. And there's these holes there, which I think are speakers. And they have the share button there, which is for sharing videos to YouTube and pictures, on putting pictures up on Facebook and whatnot. This options button is basically the option button is basically the pause button from older PS consoles, controllers. And the directional pad is opposite to the buttons. And the PS4 controller you don't need a battery, which is the one thing I like about the PlayStation controllers, PS3 and PS4, is they don't require batteries. You don't have to buy batteries every single week. And you see the charging port. Look at the charging port. See if the camera focuses. If the camera can bother to focus. Do you want to focus? No, it's not focusing. But regardless, does this look familiar to you guys? Does this look familiar, boys and girls? Yep, that's right, the Samsung charger. That means you can use a phone charger. This takes micro B. You can use a phone charger, an Android or BlackBerry charger to charge a PS4 controller. How cool is that? How cool is that, ladies and gentlemen? You can use the same charger to charge your phone to charge your PS4 controller. And I've got a charger right here. I've got my charger right here. There. Boom. And as for the bumpers, R1 and L1. As for R1 and L1, R1 are kind of like outwards a little bit, but not too much. And and they grip quite. They R1 and R2 and L2 grip quite well in your hands. But if your hands are really wet, or sweaty, the trouble is they're gonna your finger's gonna just slide away. So that's the PS4 controller. I'll compare the two and give my verdict in a little while, but now I'm gonna down for the Xbox One controller, just toss that to one side for a second, and now we can focus on, oh, I forgot to mention something about the Xbox One controller. It has got a headphone jack. If you're playing your friends online, there's a headphone jack here, and a microphone thing there as well. And no camera's not picking it up, but you know. Okay, now we can focus on the Xbox One controller. Yes, it's white because I've got an Xbox One S. Hold on a second. What? It does micro B. This one's micro B as well. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, anyway, this Xbox One controller. The buttons are there. Got X, B, A, Y, and X. Akin to the PlayStation's X, circle, triangle, and square. The home buttons at the unlike the PS4. The home button is at the top, whereas on the PS4 it's at the bottom. And the directional pad is at the top. The analog stick at the top, the directional pad at the bottom. The analog stick is exactly the same place as the PS4. And look at the headphone jack. There's a headphone jack there, which I don't think is on the original Xbox One controller, which was on the Xbox One S, which is what this one is. And there's another jack there, I don't know what that's for. And the main difference between the Xbox One controller and the PS4 controller, as you guys probably know, and I just told you guys, the Xbox One controller, the PS4 controller, does not need batteries. The batteries are built and it charges, but the big issue I've got the Xbox One controller, which is the same issue I have with the Xbox 360 controller. Look, you need battery. Xbox One controller requires batteries, and as every one of you knows, as every one of you will probably know, buying batteries for the Xbox 360 and Xbox One controller. If you remember back in the days for Xbox 360, buying batteries every freaking week is a hassle. It's a headache. Buying batteries. But with the batteries, the Xbox controller is pretty hefty. It's pretty bulky. But if you take the batteries out, like so, it's as light as a feather. It's not so top heavy. It's as light as a feather. But as soon as you put the batteries, as soon as you put them back in, they weigh a bit. They don't weigh a ton, because that would be exaggerating. It's considerably heavier, to put it that way. As you can tell, the sides, you don't know if you can see, is RB. There's the bumper, which are these buttons. The top buttons at the back, the top bumper buttons are a lot bigger than the ones on the PS controller. And the triggers stick out a bit more, like horn. They stick out a bit more, like devil horns. And the best thing about that is, if your hands are sweaty and greasy, your fingers stay on the trigger. There's been a PS4 back in. But the PS4 now, the PS4, your fingers don't stay on the triggers. I think just put it aside. Your fingers don't stay on the triggers, but whereas on the Xbox now, your fingers are gripping onto the triggers. Your fingers aren't going to ricochet off the triggers. But whereas on the PS4 now, your fingers don't stay on the friggin' L1 and L2 and R2. The headphone jack is on a pretty similar place. The headphone jack is on the left. I mean on the right on the PS4 and the Xbox One control. It's on the left. Okay. I can just get down to my opinion now. Which one of these controls do I have fun with the most? Honestly, the PS4 controller is a lot more efficient because, in the sense, that you don't have to buy batteries for it. Another advantage it has is that you can use a Samsung charger, an Android charger to charge the PS4 controller. Like finding chargers for this isn't all that hard. You just have to go to, I don't know, a pound store or a $dollar store or 99-cent store, and just pick it up for a pound or $1 if you live outside the UK. But with the Xbox One controller, like I said before, getting batteries for it can be a bit of a pain. Which I know a lot of you will agree with me on this. That's the only thing I don't like about the Xbox One controller, is having to buy batteries. The good thing about the controls, however, is your fingers stay on the triggers and don't fly off. There's a point on the end of the trigger which stops the controller from, or stops the fingers from ricocheting off the controller, which is a nice touch. It's a very good touch. But for nostalgia purposes, I'd have to go for the PS4 controller. It's sort of changed compared to the PS3 controller, to be fair. But the fact you don't need to buy batteries makes it a better choice. So, without rambling on too much, one second, this was here. But rather than too much, okay, my final decision. Okay, here it is, boys and girls, crunch time. My final decision. Which controller do I go with? So, out of a score of 1 to 10, I have to give the Xbox One controller, I think I'll give it about a 6 out of 10. The advantage this has is that the controllers are the back buttons don't stay on your fingers. The only gripe I have about this, however, is having to buy batteries. It's costs a lot. It's very costly and it's kind of annoying when the batteries run out. But the PS4, however, you don't need batteries charged. You just need a Samsung charger and you're good to go. So the button, the R1 and L2 and R2 leave a lot to be desired, but I can look past this. What I can't look past is having to buy batteries forever. So, with a 9 out of 10, the winner is the PS4 controller. just because you don't have to buy batteries for it every single time. So that was my comparison of the PS4 controller and the Xbox One controller. Hope you boys and girls enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. And before I upload this video, I'm gonna take some still pictures for those of you who follow me on Instagram. So thanks for watching, take care, and look out for future content. See you guys.